Okay, so in the alchemy video that I uploaded before, I left off by saying something about the oil. I got cut off because I ran out of recording footage on my phone. So on top of the putrefied urine, the longer your urine putrefies, the more of these oils are going to be seen developing on top of the water of the urine. Now, this oil is what I would say what the alchemists meant by, so what they're referring to as their philosophical mercury. It's it's the it's the feminine counterpart to the earthy mass in the bottom of the vessel. Now, it's what some alchemists called Argent 5. Um, now, what you want to do, you see, the salt, which is, or it's all interchangeably called the body. All right, the body of the stone must be bathed in its own water from which it come from, from whence it came. Now, the water on top of the urine that has the oil developing, even if you can't see it, it's building up there. And you want to collect that water, and you want to saturate your mineral salt body, which contains a number of different compounds, ammonia, probably a little bit of nitrates, and definitely phosphates, magnesium, maybe a little bit of potassium, possibly. I know it definitely contains ordinary salt. Now, but the earthy substance that coagulates at the bottom of the putrefied urine, you remove that coagulated substance, and you want to add about 1/4 ratio of its mass, in a weighed out amount of silver filings, or silver shrapnel. You want to make it as fine as you can so that it breaks down easily. Now, so during the silver fermentation process, it's not a true ferment in the way of like a common fermenting process with yeast and bread, and but it's likened to a ferment. So it's kind of a philosophical ferment. What happens is the substance slowly turns black, and this is due to the silver oxidizing and forming colloidal silver, which is black, and the whole matter will slowly become black. Now, in my last video, I left off with showing this sample here, and this has been sealed up for a couple weeks now, and since the last time I recorded this particular sample, it was not near as dark as it is now, I don't think. I'll have to go back and look at the footage and see, but I'm pretty sure it's gotten more gray, and it's slowly turning darker and darker in color. Now, the longer you wait for it to turn black, the better. The more you try to rush it and try to force it to turn black, the weaker your stones are going to turn out to be. The key to this work is patience, and being patient with Mother Nature, because if you try to rush the process and the stages of development of the stone, you're going to malnourish it. You want to give it time and give it space and reflect on it and work on it day after day. Check it every few days or so and see how it's developing. This is not a work that you're going to be successful at if all you're aiming at is, oh, I want to make the Philosopher's Stone so I can make a bunch of gold and so I can be rich. You're not going to do that. The stone, it doesn't work that way. You can't really use it to become rich off of gold. It doesn't even produce that much gold. Once you got the stone, you might yield like twice the amount of gold that you use to make the stone, but you're you're not going to produce enough gold to make you a fucking millionaire. Um, so uh, now back to what I was saying about the oil. All right, now the oil on top of the water, we have to saturate it with the body of our Prima Materia. We have to saturate it with the earthy salt of our Prima Materia, which already contains in itself our philosophical sulfur. Our philosophical sulfur is it's already in the earth below. All right, it's in the congealed mass that is at the bottom of the putrefied urine, while the 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 oil, which is our feminine uh, philosophical mercury, it starts to develop at the top. Now, what you want to do is conjoin them together in the same vessel. Let the body or salt of the stone, let it ferment, so to speak, with silver until your material turns as dark as you can let it get. Then you want to gradually heat the material and gradually raise your temperature over time. And you don't want to rush this. You don't want to try to make it change all in one single day. You might want to spend several weeks adjusting your temperatures. It can go on for a long period of time. If you really want a good quality stone that's going to actually yield transmutation of metals, you need to take your time with it and let nature do most of the work, while you just provide the conditions, the right temperatures, and that suit its that fit the needs of its breaking down and its development. Now, what you want to do after it's turned black and after you've gradually raised your heat, eventually you're going to raise your heat to a degree. It's going to reach a temperature where you're basically calcining it at this point. You're basically purging all the impurity out of it, and it, like, with intense heat that causes it to slowly change from its black color into a white color. And I said before that it's okay if it comes out with a little bit of gray hue in it. If it turns white, and a little bit of gray hue may indicate that you used a little bit too much silver, so there's a little bit too much colloidal silver that's still trying to make the substance black. But when you gradually raise your temperature, see, now that it's infused with silver, it can withstand more heat, because silver is a heat resistant metal, very heat resistant metal. And once it turns white again after it's blackened, you now have the white stone, which can be used to transmute base metals into silver. Don't ask me which ones. I've got a lot of experimenting to do myself with the metals, and to find out which ones are susceptible to transmutation better than other ones. I have seen lead easily turns to silver with the right temperatures. Now, the key to getting the stone to ripen, when you change it from the white, once you have the white stone, you want the red stone. If you plan to mature it even further so that it develops into a red color, the red stone, you repeat the same process you did before. Take your white stone, put it in the vessel, close it up like you did before. Close it up, but this time add a little bit of gold filings, at least 1/4 the ratio mass, just like we did before with the silver filings. We're going to do that with gold filings now, and we're going to seal it up in that container. We're going to add more of the water that the material came from. It's best if it's distilled, if you distill that water, so that the oil and the water have been separated from any contaminants or impurities. But you don't necessarily have to do